morning and good afternoon. My light fell down. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is Mucking Fun Day, which means we're having fun. 100%. That's what those words mean together. And don't switch the first letter of each word. That's totally not what we mean. We are here with news from the weekend and also from today, Monday. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you can get notified about all the great stuff we're talking about on this show. And let's go into our headlines. No, I don't know what else to say but that. Today on Before Coffee, Queer Amsterdam leaves Pride Walk after uproar over Israeli flag ban, and Euro 2024 celebrations all the way to Sabelis.
And in celebrity news on Mucking Fun Day, the Alec Baldwin case is thrown out of court.
Voters of all parties back Labour's plan to boost workers' rights, a poll shows.
And in other celebrity news, we have several celebrities passing away over the weekend, and we'll remember as many of them as we can.
And in culture news, it's the end of the world as we know it. Famous soothsayer Baba Vanga's predictions for 2025 are terrifying yet again.
Those stories and more. It says National Give Something Away Day, July 15th, 2024 on Before Coffee.
All right, let's get into these quick news stories coming off of the weekend. First, from NRC by Noor Zolzman. Stichting Queer Amsterdam has withdrawn from the Committee of Pride Walk 2024 last Sunday, or yesterday, on the 14th of July, the parade to draw attention to more acceptance of the LGBT community. The organization announced this in a statement on Instagram. The reason for the departure is a disagreement about whether or not to ban Israeli flags during the march. Well, I don't think political flags should even be there. But I guess that's also something people do to say, I came all the way from Mexico to march in this Pride March. So I guess that's why. Last week, Queer Amsterdam announced a ban on Israeli flags during the walk at the end of the month. This led to an indignant reactions from interest groups and local politicians. The Amsterdam factions of VVD, or the Freedom Party, and Volt, which is also a far-right party, spoke of an open anti-Semitism and discrimination respectively, while Mayor Femke Halsema, GroenLinks, which is the Green Party, called the flag ban unacceptable and emphasized that the organization cannot forbid people to express themselves. Last weekend, Queer Amsterdam apologized for the resulting confusion. It was never intention to give members of the LGBTQ community the impression that they were not welcome. A day later, the organization left the committee. We believe it is important to make compromises, but not on the extent that we lose sight of who we are and what we stand for. The statement on Instagram on the 14th read, in the current political climate, we cannot welcome or support all flags. The organization of the Pride Walk is now entirely in the hands of Stichting Homo Monument, or Gay Monument, which writes on Facebook that it respects Queer Amsterdam's decision. The Homo Monument is an open place for the entire community, and we welcome everyone who stands for a world of tolerance regardless of your flag. The march will take place this Saturday, July 20th, to the center of Amsterdam. So, I guess what they're trying to say is that Queer Amsterdam didn't want Israeli flags in there, and then everyone got angry at them. So they dropped out of the committee, said they're not going to actually walk. And so now the Pride Walk is allowing all flags, including Israeli flags, to fly. So go there freely and fly all your flags. All the flags are allowed in Amsterdam. For the Euro 2024 news, celebrations are going all over the place in Spain because who won? But of course Spain. As I'm sure many English people have told you already, because they were not very happy. This is from El País. Madrid is preparing to host the celebrations today for the 4th European Championship won by the national team after beating England 2-1 last night at the Olympic Stadium in Berlin. The La Roja players were scheduled to arrive at Adolfo Suárez Madrid Barajas Airport at around 2 p.m. So they're gonna arrive any minute now, because it's 1:45. But their flight is delayed by at least an hour, so they're not gonna arrive until I'm done editing this episode, is what it sounds like. For the moment, at 6:30 p.m., they will be received by King Philip VI, I can count in Roman numerals, at the Zarzuela Palace. Afterwards, the team will travel to the Moncloa Palace, where at 7:30 p.m., they will meet with the president of the government, Pedro Sanchez, accompanied by other representatives of the executive. After the institutional meetings, the team will begin a tour of the streets of Madrid towards the Palacio de Comunicaciones, where from 7:30 p.m. there will be a big party for fans with musical performances while waiting for the bus to arrive around 9:15. Among other personalities, the event will include the singer Isabel Aoun, the DJ Wally Lopez, Ibai Llanos, and the presenter Sal Ramos. The team will once again use an open-top bus to meet fans en route that will start in Moncloa, then go all along Calle Princesa towards Alberto Aguilera. It will then arrive at Plaza de Colón, then continue along Calle Jorge Juan and Calle Serrano to reach Puerta del Alcalá. From there, along Alfonso XII and arriving at Montalban to the City Hall headquarters in the Palacio de Cibeles. Metro Madrid has reinforced lines 2 and 4 for the celebration. The Banco de España station will remain closed from 6:30 p.m. as the organization itself has announced on social media. So if you want to go check out the winners of the year 2024, get to Spain now, so you can see them later at around 7:30 p.m. where they'll be leaving going to the palace to meet the government officials. But I think this is great news, mostly because as a partially Scottish descendant, fuck the English. But second, let's be honest here, this party the Spanish are going to put on is going to be way better than any party an English person can put on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't even like Spanish people, so I have my own
you don't like Spanish?
ancestral vengeance against the Spanish for polluting my bloodline with their conquistadors and all that stuff. But I'm happy for them.
But they're spitting on tourists last week.
And if you are English, please stay safe, because I hear that domestic abuse rates go up during a loss for football. So I'm sorry to hear that happens, but this is why I'm not a fan of football. Anyways, that's my 2 stories from the weekend. On to yours.
Okay, so we're going to do like Celebrity Day. I mean...
it's Celebrity Day, sadly.
Our first story is PBS.org. Alec Baldwin makes his first public comment after early end of manslaughter trial, thanks supporters from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Alec Baldwin made his first public statements thanking his supporters Saturday after stunning early end to his involuntary manslaughter trial. There are too many people who have supported me to thank just now, Baldwin said in a brief Instagram post that was accompanied a photo of him sitting in Santa Fe, New Mexico courtroom. To all of you will never know how much I appreciate your kindness towards my family. The actor wept a day earlier when Judge Mary Malone Summer dismissed his case 3 days into the trial and said he could not be criminally charged again in the killing of cinematographer Alina Hutchins. Neither he nor his lawyers spoke to reporters as he left the courthouse. The evidence that sank the case was ammunition that was brought into the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office in March by a man who said it could be related to the Hutchins killing. Prosecutors said that they deemed the ammunition unrelated and unimportant, while Baldwin's lawyers they buried it while they motioned to dismiss the case. The judge said the withholding of the evidence tainted the fundamental fairness of the trial of the 66-year-old Baldwin, who could have gotten 18 months in prison if he were convicted, of course. My opinion on this was just a show trial to begin with. If he wasn't famous, he wouldn't be on trial. If he wasn't a famous liberal. He put me on trial. And that's the way that goes. And of course, they suppressed that. The prosecutors trying to make a name for themselves, trying to get their 15 minutes of fame, and decided to suppress evidence, which you can't do. You have to give the defense all the evidence you have. They have to know what you have against them.
Yeah, it's called discovery.
They
and when
withheld
you do
evidence.
discovery,
So the judge said, you can't
give it all. Yeah.
Even if you don't think it's significant, you're going to present it as evidence. We're thinking about it. Maybe you weren't, but still, we won't need to see it. Okay, so in celebrity death news, we're going to cover the Shannon Doherty. I guess the most tragic is the one that dies the youngest, so we'll go in that order. Shannon Doherty, American actress. This is from
cancer,
Lisa Richwine of Reuters. American actor Shannon Doherty, best known for her role of high school student Brenda Walsh in the 1990s hit television drama Beverly Hills 90210, has died at the age of 53 following a years-long battle with cancer. Doherty, who had been public about her treatment for breast cancer, died on Saturday, publicist Leslie Sloan said in a statement on Sunday. The devoted daughter, sister, aunt, and friend was surrounded by her loved ones as well as her dog, Bowie, Sloan said in the statement. The family asked for the privacy at this time so they can grieve in peace. In 2015, she was undergoing treatment for a disease. In 2023, she had brain tumor removed. It revealed that the cancer had spread to her bones.
Terrible. Yeah,
you ain't got much time left when that happens. The actor, who had previously starred in the movie Heathers, gained widespread popularity in 90210 for his portrayal of Brenda, an honor roll student from Minnesota who struggled to fit in with her classmates in a wealthy zip code. Her character in the show became entwined in love triangle. Dylan, played by Luke Perry, and Kelly Taylor, Jeannie Garth. In a real-life, Doherty clashed with Garth and other classmates and left 90210 during its fourth season in 1994. The show continued through the 2000s without her. In 1998, 90210 producer Aaron Spelling cast Doherty in the supernatural series Charmed as Prue Halliwell. Yeah. The oldest of three sisters with magical abilities. The show was a hit, but also subject to reports of behind-the-scenes turmoil. People magazine cited Doherty, the iconic bad girl of the 90s, citing her reputation for partying, turning up late on sets, and feuding with actors and their bosses. In 2023, in a podcast called Let's Be Clear with Shannon Doherty, the actress said she took full responsibility for her actions and acknowledged her behavior would get a little carried away when she was frequenting nightclubs in her early 20s. She also said she spoke up more than other women working in television at the time, telling Spelling and others when she thought a script needed improvement. I was raised to have an opinion and that my opinion should be valued, so I just kept on pressing up against that machine, up against men who didn't really want to hear my opinion, she said on the podcast. Later, I learned the simple art of diplomacy. I learned that there might be a nicer way to say some things.
Instead of being
back to reprise her role.
I'm saying instead of being blunt, so you can say that's fucked up, but it's a nicer way to say that is what you learned.
Yeah, when you're older, you learn. Yeah, you learn tact when you're older. When you're younger, it's like this has to be said now. The actor reprised the role of Brenda for 90210 in reboots in 2008 and 2019. Says she and Garth had reconciled after the two became adults and left the teenage conflicts behind. Doherty's co-stars paid tribute to her on Sunday. She was a force of nature and I'll miss her. Jason Priestley, who played Doherty's brother in 90210 and said in light family in a stark time. Charmed actor Rosie McGowan said Doherty had the heart of a lion. My head bows to this warrior on her journey home, McGowan wrote on social media. Doherty was born in Memphis, Tennessee on April 12, 1971 and began acting as a child. At age 11, she played Jenny Wilder in the final season of the TV classic Little House on the Prairie. In 1988, Doherty was cast as dark comedy film Heathers, which went on to become a cult classic. Doherty was most recently of her Kurt Iswarenko. She filed for divorce from him in 2023. There is your update and your sad news on the passing of Shannon Doherty.
Yeah, tragic.
Back with more celebrity news
cancer
later.
For so long. Since 2015. I don't have any happy news. I just have political news next from looking at Labour, because as we know, Labour hasn't been in power in the UK for 14 years, so every single steps they take will be watched very closely to look for anything bad, anything good, just what is going on with Labour. This is from Heather Stewart on The Guardian. Labour's plans for boosting workers' rights are backed by voters across political spectrum, including a majority of Conservative and Reform supporters, new polling commissioned by the TUC shows. Reminder from everyone here at Before Coffee, polling is very, very, very selective, so don't put all your freaking whatever votes into it. All your carrots in one basket, whatever they say. As the new government prepares to set out its program in the King's Speech on Wednesday, which is 17th of July, the TUC is urging ministers to press ahead with implementing their manifesto pledges on workers' rights in full. In a poll of 3,000 voters carried out by Opinium on the day after the general election this month, almost two-thirds of respondents, 64%, supported giving workers protections against unfair dismissal from day one of a job. This include an overwhelming majority of Labour voters, 81%, along with 55% of Conservative voters and 57% of those who backed reform. Similarly, more than two-thirds of those polled, 67%, supported banning zero-hour contracts, which included 67% of Conservative voters and 72% of Reform voters. What is a zero-hour contract? Well, it's right there in the name. They can hire you and then give you zero work. You have a contract to work for them, but they don't have to actually give you 40 hours. They don't have to give you 2 hours. They can just call you and say, in a way, it's like you're on call, but you're not even getting paid for being on call. Hey, can you come in on Tuesday from 3 to 6? Well, I want to be paid money, so I guess I have to say yes, because I'm not on the schedule otherwise. So, yeah, zero contracts are terrible. The only reason they even exist is for children, for hiring children. Because you can't actually, you have an hour limit on how long children can work. So they made the 0-hour contract to say, yeah, these people don't need money because they're children, they have parents for the most part. So we'll just give them a 0-hour contract. That way they have a job, but they don't have to actually, sign a form with their hours and pay taxes or whatever. Other aspects of Labour's New Deal for working people, including a ban on fire and rehire, also commanded majority support in the poll, including among voters who did not back Labour on the 4th of July. The TUC General Secretary, Paul Nowak, said British voters across the political spectrum want work to pay and to feel secure and respected in their jobs. I think everybody in the world wants to feel that. Good PSA for employers out there. Everyone wants to work and get paid and also feel secure and respected. I know it's a lot to ask, but you guys can do it. Labour's workers' rights plans are hugely popular, and this poll should give ministers confidence to get on with delivering them in full. The New Deal for working people has been championed by the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, amid concerns among some in the union movement that aspects of the plan could be diluted in the face of pressure from businesses. At the reception in Parliament last week, Rayner told an audience of Labour's trade union supporters, including several new MPs with union backgrounds, that she would work with them to see proposals implemented. Labour has promised to introduce a new employment bill within 100 days of coming to power, so mark your calendar. Other aspects of the plans include establishing collective bargaining in the social care sector and making statutory sick pay available for the first day of illness. The junior business minister Justin Matters, who was heavily involved in Labour's workers' rights agenda in opposition, is expected to shepherd the legislation to the House of Commons. Labour has also said it will consult on how to create a single employment status, eliminating the current situation in which individuals can be employed, self-employed, or classified as worker. The latter group, often a casual contract, do not receive full employment rights. Never trust anything like that. If there is something that makes you not eligible for employment rights, don't even sign that damn contract. They are using you for their own profits. There we go. Using you for their own profits. We don't have to pay this person insurance. They're a worker. To Department of Business and Trade spokesperson said, delivering a new deal for working people is a core part of our national mission to grow the economy and raise living standards across the UK. By modernizing workplace rights and making work more secure, we will put more money in people's pockets to spend and lay the foundations for economic growth. Well, that follows exactly Roger's economic beliefs, which is, hey, if poor people have money, they spend it, and then everyone is happy, instead of rich people who just leave it in an offshore account and don't spend it on anything. Some businesses groups have expressed reservations about workers' rights agenda, with Rupert Soames, the president of the Confederation of British Industry, warning that the plans could make employers reluctant to take on new staff. They always say that. Oh no, we have to respect our workers? That might mean that nobody's gonna get hired. We don't want to hire people we have to respect. We only want to hire people that will treat us like they're saviors. The Institute for Fiscal Studies think tank has also warned about the possible trade-offs involved, using a report issued during the election campaign to suggest the cost involved could result in lower wages to workers who are not protected by the national living wage. PwC's polling also underlines voters' gloom in terms of their own finances, with 54% saying their personal circumstances are getting worse. So there's your news coming out of Labour and their plans for workers' rights. Hopefully it goes through and really boosts everyone's quality of life. I think when it comes to this kind of things, if you raise the standard, everyone else are just gonna have to follow it. So you can only try your hardest to raise that standard, because either a company hires these new higher standard workers or they go out of business. Their choice. Onto your story.
Alright, I'm sending you a video clip.
Okay.
So it's going to take a second here before I start talking again, because I can't do too many things at once because I'm old and slow. Maybe sing a song while you're waiting. Alright, you can just click. I don't know.
All right, got it.
There it goes. All right.
Where do you want me to click it? Where do you want me to click
away
it?
news again. These are should have.
Sorry,
right
you're
now.
breaking up. Your internet's breaking up.
What did you say? Hello, is this thing on?
Yeah, it is.
You're not answering me. What?
Well, I'm not answering you because you're breaking up. You actually disconnected, so I didn't. If you said anything, I didn't hear it or see it.
Oh. Okay. Can I start reading now? Am I connected again? Let me not move too much. All right. Let me go back. I did send you a video. I guess.
I got the video.
We'll start with the no more celebrities passing away. Pioneering, this is from NPR.org. Pioneering expert Dr. Westheimer dies at the age of 96. Internet, this is from Willie San Juan. Internationally acclaimed sex therapist Dr. Ruth Westheimer, who tore down taboos that are open, non-judgmental, and good-humored public conversations about human intimacy, has died. She was 96. According to her longtime publicist Pierre Lihu, Westheimer died peacefully on Friday in her home in New York City. The cause of death is published. Westheimer became a household name in the early 1980s when she was in her 50s for her first sex on her popular late-night show, Sexually Speaking. She continued her work on TV with the Dr. Ruth Show, which by 1985 attracted 2 million viewers a week. She also shared her knowledge in dozens of books, including Dr. Ruth's Guide to Good Sex and Sex for Dummies. On the classroom, she taught in Columbia Universities as well as Hunter College. Westheimer was a proponent of safe sex who normalized the use of words like penis, vagina, and condom, and at the time when few dared use these terms in public settings. She also was an outspoken supporter of gay and abortion rights, catching fire from conservatives during her Reagan era for her stance. Anti-feminist leader Phyllis Schlafly criticized Westheimer along with Gloria Steinem, Anita Hill, Madonna, Ellen DeGeneres, and others promoting provocative sex chatter. Anita Hill. I'm sorry, Anita Hill was sexually harassed by Lawrence Thomas, right? She's a victim, but this Phyllis Schlafly was horrible. Anyway. Rampant immorality in her 1990 essay, The Dangers of Sex Education. Who cares about Phyllis Schlafly? Why does she get a paragraph anyway? Catholic firebrand and Reverend Edwin O'Brien was also a Westminster. Who cares? Firebrand labeling the sex therapist's work as upsetting and morally compromised. Nonsense. With her German-tinged English, the Wall Street Journal once described Westheimer's voice as a Kissinger and Minnie Mouse. And committed stature, as well under 5 feet in height, Westheimer approached her work with gusto and sense of fun. She focused on reminding people that there was nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to discussing sex or cheeky cash. Get some. I certainly believe in the need for sexuality education. I do not believe that it has to be taught based on scientifically validated data, and it has to be taught I do believe that it has to be taught based on scientifically validated data, and it has to be taught with some kind of humor, she told NPR in 2007. Westheimer's global success was belied by a difficult past. She was born into an Orthodox Jewish family in Kerala, Ruth Siegel in Frankfurt, Germany in 1928. Her mother was a housekeeper and father a salesman. At 10, her parents sent their only child to Switzerland to escape Kristallnacht, a wave of anti-Semitic violence perpetuated by the Nazis. Westheimer believed her parents were murdered in Auschwitz and she never saw them again. She would keep these early tragedies under wraps for most of her career, only speaking openly about her past in 2019 with the release of the Hulu documentary Ask Dr. Ruth. I changed my mind with this film, she said in an interview with NPR at the time of the movie's release. After the war ended, she immigrated to Palestine, which was under British control at the time. There she trained as a scout and a sniper for Haganah, the Jewish militia. She sustained a serious injury during a mortar attack. Westheimer moved to Paris 2 years later and studied psychology at the Sorbonne before immigrating to the United States in 1956. In New York, she worked as a maid while studying for her master's degree in sociology at the New School and went to earn a doctorate of education from Columbia University's Teacher College. Her post-PhD job at Planned Parenthood in Harlem, teaching women sex education, that led her to study sexuality in a deeper way. Beyond her work as a sex therapist, Westheimer became a cultural icon. She appeared in late-night TV talk shows, co-starred with the 1985 movie One Woman or Two alongside Gerard Depardieu, appeared in the cover of People magazine, sang on Tom Chapin's This Pretty Planet album, and hosted Playboy videos. She was also the focus of one-woman play Becoming Dr. Ruth and the board game, Dr. Ruth's Game of Good Sex. Many public figures took to social media to express their sadness at Westheimer's death. Dr. Ruth Westheimer led an extraordinary life, wrote New York Governor Kathy Hochul on X, remembering Westheimer's role as New York's first ever ambassador to loneliness. We worked together to spotlight a mental health crisis impacting our seniors. She was brave, funny, candid, and brilliant. And so long, Dr. Ruth. And other celebrity passing away news. This is from AP News. Mark Kennedy, the author. Richard Simmons, a fitness guru who mixed laughs and sweat, dies at the age of 76. Richard Simmons, television's hyperactive court jester of physical fitness, who built a mini empire in his trademark tank tops and short shorts by urging the overweight to exercise and eat better, died Saturday. He turned 76 on Friday. Simmons died at his home in Los Angeles. His publicist Tom Estee said in an email to Associated Press. He gave no further details. Los Angeles police and fire department say they responded to a house whose address the AP has matched with Simmons through public records, where a man was declared dead from natural causes. Simmons, who had revealed his skin cancer diagnosis in March 2024, had lately dropped out of sight, sparking speculation about his health and well-being. His death was first reported by TMZ. Simmons was a former 268-pound teen who became a master of many media forms, sharing his hard-won weight loss tips as a host of the Emmy-winning daytime Richard Simmons Show and author of best-selling Diet Plan Deal a Meal. He also opened exercise studios and starred in exercise videos. including the wildly successful Sweatin' to the Oldies line, which became a cultural phenomenon. My food plan and diet are just 2 words, common sense, with a dash of good humor, he told the Associated Press in 1982. I want to help people and make the world a healthier, happier place. Simmons embraced mass communication to get his message out, even as he eventually became the butt of jokes for his outfits and flamboyant flair. He was sought after guests on TV shows led by Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas, Phil Donahue, but David Letterman would prank him and Howard Stern would tease him until he cried. He was mocked in Neil Simon's The Goodbye Girl on Broadway in 1993, and Eddie Murphy put dressed like him in The Nutty Professor, screaming, I'm a pony. Asked if he thought he could motivate people by being silly, Simmons answered, I think there's time to be serious and time to be silly. It's knowing when to do it. I tried this combination. Being silly causes cures depression. People are but being silliness is a lot of seriousness that makes sense. It's a different kind of training. Simmons' daytime show is seen in 200 stations in America, as well as Australia, New Zealand, and the Philippines, Japan, and South America. His first book, Never Say Diet, was a seller. He was known to counsel the severely obese, including Rosalie Bradford, who held records for being the world's heaviest woman, Michael Herbranko, who's credited Simmons for helping him lose 700 pounds. 700 pounds, wow, that's like 4 people. Simmons people, chubby, balding, and non-telegenic in his exercise videos to make the fitness goals seem reachable. Throughout his career, Simmons was a reliable critic of fad diets, always emphasizing healthy eating and exercise plans. There'll always be some weird thing about eating 4 grapes before you go to bed and drinking a special tea or buying this little bean from El Salvador, he told AP in 2005, as the Atkins diet craze swept the country. If you watch your portions and you have a good attitude and you work out every day, you'll live longer, feel better, and look terrific. Simmons was a native of New Orleans, a chubby boy named Milton by his parents. He renamed himself Richard around the age of 10 to improve his self-image. He didn't like Milton. He would tell people he ate to excess because he believed his parents liked his older brother more. He was teased by schoolmates and ballooned to almost 200 pounds. Simmons told AP his mother watched exercise guru Jack LaLanne's TV show religiously when he was growing up, but he wasn't crazy about the fitness fanatic. I hated him, Simmons said. I wasn't ready for his message because he was fit and he was healthy. He had such a positive attitude, and I was none of those things. Simmons went to Italy as a foreign exchange student and ended up doing peanut butter commercials and bacchanalian eating scenes for director Federico Fellini in his film The Fellini Satiricon. He told the AP, I was fat, had curly hair, the Italians thought I was hysterical. I was the life of the party. He changed that for getting an anonymous letter. One dark, rainy day, I went to my car and found a note that said, Dear Richard, you're very funny, but fat people die young. Please don't die. He was so stunned that he went on a starvation diet that left him thin but very ill. After the crash diet, he gained back 65 pounds. Eventually, he was able to devise a sensible plan to take off the pounds and keep them off. I went into business because I couldn't find anything I liked. When Simmons hadn't been seen in public for several years, some news outlets speculated that he was being held hostage in his own house. In telephone interviews with Entertainment Tonight and Today Show, Simmons refuted the claims and told his fans that he was enjoying the time by himself. Filmmaker Dan Taberski, one of his regular students, launched a podcast in 2017 called Missing Richard Simmons. In 2022, Simmons broke a 6-year silence with his spokesperson telling the New York Post that the beloved fitness icon was living the life he has chosen. One of the online tributes after Simmons' passing was from actor-comedian Pauly Shore, who previously developed an unauthorized biography of Simmons, which Simmons objected to at the time. I just got word, like everyone else, that the beautiful Richard Simmons has passed. He began an Instagram post. I hope you're at peace and twinkling up there in the heavens. He added, You're one of a kind, Richard. Amazing life, an amazing story. All right, the end of the Richard Simmons story. Rest in peace, Richard.
Wow,
And,
that was a lot of information. For me, it feels like the 90s are over. I mean, they've been over. But like, these are people I grew up with, they were big when I was a tiny child. So it's like, oh wow. You know, Shannon was a big 90s thing. Richard Simmons is definitely a big 90s thing. I didn't really know Ruth as much, but I don't think I was the age to be consuming her, what she was selling.
She
I wasn't
was
exactly the demographic for
entertaining.
learning about sex positivity at the time. But rest in peace, those guys. Those long lives that they led. And let's go into our culture news. Because, look, everyone's dropping like flies, so I guess the world's ending. According to Baba Vanga, who again has more predictions to 2025. Remember, guys, this is all mostly not serious. But, you know, take it seriously if you have to. This is On Your News Culture by David Morquand. As if we didn't have enough on our plate already, altogether now, it's the end of the world as we know it. 2024 hasn't exactly been smooth sailing so far. Japan's devastating earthquake, both the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the Israel-Hamas war continue. The continued rise of the far right, despite some positive respite with the recent UK and French elections, the death of Alexei Navalny, and let's not forget quite how bad Madame Web was, and that Kanye West is still releasing music. I don't know if Madame Web was that bad. I haven't seen it. We could go on, and we still got the two old men and the old man war U.S. election to look forward to, as well as the ongoing threat of increasingly powerful AI models spreading beyond the control of humans and governments. Now, legendary blind soothsayer Baba Vanga has reportedly revealed that the end times will commence in 2025. More specifically, that the start of our destruction will begin next year with a conflict in Europe that will devastate the continent's population. It will be the kickstarting of events that will ultimately culminate in our doom. In other words, 2025 will be the beginning of our end. Wonderful. For those of you who have never heard of her, Vangelia Pandeva Gushderova, popularly known as Baba Vanga or Nostradamus of the Balkans, was born in 1911, has allegedly prophetic abilities. Blind since childhood, the Bulgarian clairvoyant apparently was able to see into the future. Powers she attributed to a tornado that left her blind. These abilities first brought her to public attention in the midst of World War II, and individuals like Bulgarian Tsar Boris III and Soviet leader Leonid Brezhnev reportedly consulted her in person. She died in 1996 and has since become a cult figure among believers of soothsaying and, as you can imagine, conspiracy theorists. Apparently, many of her predictions have come true long after her death. For instance, Baba Vanga said to have foretold the death of Princess Diana, the sinking of a Russian submarine Kursk, and the 9/11 terror attacks. She even allegedly foresaw her own death on the 11th August 1996 at the age of 85. Of course, not many of the predictions attributed to her to be authenticated, as they are based on second-hand accounts. Even though a mystic is no more, she made predictions for every year up to 5079. Lucky for us, or maybe not, since she already had made 7 prophecies for 2024, none of them particularly comforting, apart from an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin by a fellow countryman. Here are famous blind mystics' latest predictions, her timeline for our demise, if you will. 2025 will have a war in Europe. An event will spark humanity's demise, will be unspecified conflict in Europe, which will decimate the continent's population. In 2028, Venus. We'll explore Venus as an energy source. It's worth noting that the second planet from the sun is inhospitable and nothing can grow there. 2033, the melting of the ice caps. The polar ice caps will melt, raising sea levels to drastic heights worldwide. 2076, communism will return. 2130, humans will make alien contact for the first time. 2170, a global drought will hit and climate change will continue to ravage the planet. 3005, the Martian War. Earth will go to war with a civilization on Mars. We already know there's nobody living on Mars. Unless the aliens from 2130 make a colony there, I guess, and then become Martians.
They live inside Mars.
They're inside Mars. There's actually a Doctor Who episode about Martians being frozen on the inside of Mars, and they melt and come out to invade Earth. 3797, the end of the world, part 1. Earth will no longer be able to support life, and nobody will survive the Martian War, so Earth will be uninhabitable. 5079, the end of the world, part 2. For real this time. This is the end of anything, as in the universe ends, the world ends, there you have it. As previously mentioned, not many of the predictions attributed to her can be authenticated, and Vanga was far from infallible, so talk of this will be a fistful of salt. She did get some right, but she did also predict that a major nuclear power plant was supposed to explode last year, and that Earth would be hit by a devastating solar storm. So we dodged those catastrophes. To be fair, there was a solar storm, but it didn't devastate anything. But there was a solar storm. It's also worth mentioning that when it comes to predictions on our future, Vanga is not alone. The Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists also announces a yearly estimation with its doomsday clock, which this year's was set to 90 seconds to midnight for the second year in a row. It's the closest it's ever been to midnight in the history of the clock. Not very reassuring, is it? All we can do now is hope that Bamba Vanga's doomsday visions are skewed, that we finally wake up and learn to live together by focusing on what unites us rather than divides us, and not piss off any Martians, naturally. Failing that, brace yourselves for next year, it's going to be a doozy. So that's your update on the end of the world from Your News Culture and Dave Norquand. It's going to be fine, people. I definitely want to focus on his last message, which is, let's just focus on living together peacefully and looking at what makes us similar, like food. You know, a lot of us have similar food staples, maybe with different ingredients, but we all made them the same way, like lemper from Indonesia and tamales from Mexico. Very similar in how they're used, but they use different ingredients. Crazy. Anyways, that's my peace giving, love and freedom, whatever.
I'm
message.
waiting for the aliens to invade myself.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
Waiting for the Martians to come.
My theory, the silly people that think that aliens are the size of humans, or they look like humans, that's silly. Anyway, you got the video I sent, right?
Yeah, I got it. Aliens are all secretly like viruses just running around in space.
Okie dokie. This day in history. Yeah, aliens are viruses. Maybe we're aliens. You know, how do we get here? Aha! The Scientology has the answer to that one. In 1883, circus performer on this day in history. 1883, circus performer Charles Stratton, known to the world as General Tom Thumb, died at the age of 45. In 1912, American Jim Thorpe won a gold medal for the decathlon at the Olympics in Stockholm, and he also captured a gold medal for the pentathlon. Jim Thorpe, America's greatest athlete, at least in the 20th century. Did we talk about him yesterday?
No, that was
Jim
a different
Thorpe?
guy. Sorry.
Yesterday? I was
not yesterday. Sorry.
Maybe Friday. No. It's been a while since we talked about Jim Thorpe.
Okay.
In 1922, on this day, Leon Max Lederman was born in New York City. He was the co-recipient of the 1988 Nobel Prize for Physics for his research on neutrinos. 1978, American singer-songwriter Bob Dylan performed in England before 200,000 people. What? 200,000 people for Glastonbury, maybe? 1988,
I guess so, yeah.
The thriller Die Hard was first released in U.S. theaters, launching a hugely popular series and helping establish Bruce Willis as an action star.
And Christmas Hero.
Christmas Hero in July. 1997, Italian fashion designer Gianni Versace was murdered by serial killer Andrew Cunanan. Gianni Versace murdered on this day in 1997. 2006, co-founders Jack Dorsey, Evan Williams, and Biz Stone publicly launched their online micro-blogging service, Twitter, and within the following decade, it had more than 300 million users. Twitter, virtually just a scam now of stupid people saying
I would argue
stupid
Twitter
things.
ruined the world. Even before Musk took over.
What's that?
I would argue Twitter ruined the world even before Musk took over it. Definitely,
Twitter is just a wasteland.
Points of view
It always has been.
Populism. It definitely helped all that
If you love arguing with celebrities who like to argue with people who aren't celebrities, I guess it's a great thing. But
it's not.
I never found it even slightly interesting. Not even for 5 seconds. I was like, oh, this is awful. Get this away from me. All right, anyway. This featured event, 1965 on this day. Close-up pictures of Mars provided by Mariner 4. Mariner 4, an uncrewed space probe, launched by NASA in 1964, flew by Mars and returned close-up pictures of its surface on this day in 1965, the picture proving that the planet's rumored canals were actually illusions. So, 1965, we flew by Mars for the first time. Our featured biography, Rembrandt, basically. Rembrandt van Rijn is his name, Dutch artist. Rijn, R-I-G-N. Is that Rijn or Rien? Is that J silent? Well, he was born on July 15th, 1606 in Leiden, Netherlands. And he died October 4th, 1669 in Amsterdam at the age of 63. So happy birthday to Rembrandt. 1930, Jacques Derrida was born, French philosopher. 1939 is the birthday of Ali Khamenei, the Rabbar of Iran, born in 1939. Linda Ronstadt's birthday today, American singer, born in 1946. Haji Hasnal Bolkaya Muazzadin Wadala, the Sultan of Brunei. Wadala. Long name, Sultan of Brunei, that's his name. Haji Hassanal Bolkaya Muazzadin Wadala. 1946, happy birthday to you if you're still around, Sultan of Brunei. You probably got a lot of money, that's why he has all those names, I suppose. 1951 is the birthday of Jesse Ventura, American professional wrestler, actor, and politician. Also Special Forces guy.
Can you quickly turn on and off your camera?
All. What?
Your camera's frozen weird.
What?
Can you turn it on and off again?
My camera's frozen again?
Yeah, it's doing something weird. There you go. You're good.
What now?
Continue.
Better?
Yeah, all perfect.
All right. In the National Day calendar, it's a lot of things today. It is National Give Something Away Day, which I do all the time. It says I give my money away to all the book collectors.
Give it away now. Give it away.
National Pet Fire Safety Day. Well, I had a story I didn't report on, but there was a cat.
Don't forget about your cat when your oven catches on fire.
Yeah, maybe we'll cover some pet news tomorrow. Pet safety
don't worry,
news on Good Tuesday.
I already have some animal news.
All right.
For Wednesday, at least.
It's also National I Love Horses. Oh, we do? Oh, cool. National I Love Horses Day. Who doesn't love horses? I don't know. National Tapioca Pudding Day. Tapioca pudding, not exactly sure what it's made of, but it's all slimy and gelatinous. Gelatinous, that's the word. It's Social Media Giving Day, so give money on social media. I don't know what that means. It's National Social Media Giving Day. There it is. Maybe we can look that up. National Get Out of the Doghouse Day. I imagine this is about basically like men who do not literally sleep in a doghouse, but they get in trouble and they don't get to sleep in their own bed that night or whatever. So I guess that's what that is. And it's National Gummy Worm Day. National Gummy Worm Day. Somebody wanted to make a day out of that. And National, I guess it's Social Media Giving Day. National Get Out of the Doghouse Today. Occasionally, we all need a free pass. National Get Out of the Doghouse Day on the third Monday of July offers fast track home we all need for a while. Generally, you're in the doghouse if you have fallen out of favor with someone, usually your spouse or significant other. So buy them flowers. That'll do it. Buy them flowers. And Social Media Giving Day is a day we encourage everyone to use social media to make a difference in the world by promoting charitable giving. Okay. That should be every day. Those are your dates for today. On July 15th, 2024, on Before Tapioca.
All right. Oh, I forgot about that. Tapioca time. Oh, what did I do? I did something weird with my camera angle, but welcome. We're back. I'll fix it another time. That is it for today's Mucking Fun Day. chaotic as usual. I hope you have learned something new about everything that's happened over the weekend and are now notified. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications so you know when we go live, and have a good one and stay safe out there. Drink water, sunscreen, don't get cancer, because it's really sad. And here is our mic drop moment.
I would like to welcome a man who has made dieting and exercising fun for millions of people, who has even, I understand, gotten his own mother to change her favorite recipes. Now that's something. Welcome, Richard.
You're so
The young Richard
I know there's a
Simmons
key
and
behind you
Yeah.
sometimes.
young Roots.
I haven't seen it yet, but I know there's like a little key that
You
they
mean
want.
the same key that you have? We are exchanging it? Richard, is that true that your name was Milton?
Yeah, I was baptized Milton Teagle Simmons, and I lived with that name for about
You
11
baptized.
years.
I thought you were Jewish.
Well, that's your second question.
I see.
I'm going to the first question now.
All right. No, it doesn't go like that with me. Now,
No, I am
Milton?
Jewish, but I didn't find out I was Jewish until I was 19.
Okay.
I was raised Catholic in
Yes.
New Orleans because my mother, who was Jewish, wanted to go into show business to be a Follies girl, and when she left to become a Follies
What
girl,
a happy
it disowned
guy.
her. So she kind of pulled back on her
Yes.
religious feelings, and she married a Catholic.
Yes.
And then I was raised Catholic because in New Orleans, there's really only like 2 Jewish people,
okay,
and they
back
own
to
New
Milton.
Orleans. What?
And why didn't you like Milton? I like Milton.
I thought it was really serious. I thought Milton Teagle Simmons was serious. So I sat my parents down in a living room similar to this one.
When you were 10 years old.
11 years old.
He's also
And
I
sitting
sat
like
down and said,
crisscrossed
"I
in
can't
his
live
chair,
with this
you know,
name,"
like.
and I don't like it.
You made
and
a
it's-
sad face.
No, I was just I have a very good relationship with my family. They taught me
Milton.
that I could
Milton,
go
the guy
with
from
them
Office
and,
Space.
You know, that I
Yeah.
could just be who I was.
So you said, I don't like my name.
Don't like it.
And?
And I wanted to change it. So I gave them a bunch of names that I really liked.
And?
Well, they didn't like Diana Ross Simmons.
But did you come up with it,
I came
Richard?
up. Yeah, I came up with Richard.
And now you love it.
Well, then they called me Dickie, so I don't even. What was worse, Milton or Dickie? So no, I like Richard. I
He used to
feel
be
like
called
I've had
Dickie.
Richard now
What's
since I'm
worse,
11
being
years
called
old, so I
Milton or
kind of like
Dickie?
it.
I like the name Richard. Is it true that you wanted to be a priest?
I was in the seminary for a year and 9 months. The food was terrible. Those nuns do
That's not
great
why you
flower
left.
arrangements, but they're not good with food. I left because I felt that my pulpit could be bigger, I guess. You know, I was.
Television and the whole world.
I liked it because I also like what they wear. Because, you know, when you enter the seminary and you're over 200 pounds, those things look great on you. I mean, you know,
But
you can
your
eat
face-
your way and never get a new cassock. You know what I'm saying? But, no, I just felt that I could help God and help the world by doing what I really wanted to do. And
Which
that's
you are
this.
doing. All right, you are involved in 250 new things.
Just like you.
Yeah, but
We follow
you-
each other on the road. I go to a college, you go, Dr. Ruth
They
was
do?
just here. Yeah.
They do. They tell me that Richard was here. Now, let me ask you something. You are close to your mother. You just said you have a
She's in
relationship.
prison right now, but I am very.
How long were
close
you-
to her. Well, she was caught shoplifting.
10 more
I don't want
seconds.
to talk about it. It was a sad. No, my mother.
Richard, I take these things very seriously. God forbid.
No, she's I'm very close to.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.